The noise, guys, as I've just, it seems like the last month or two, maybe even the last 3 or 4 weeks, just this greater awareness to God, the more, to the cosmos, to the universe, to our Creator, like in me, inside of me, the awareness of that is it just keeps getting more and more and more, and I just becoming more and more aware. You know, it is like the awakening, the spiritual awakening, and all that stuff. But I like try to talk about it in a different way, just because I'm me, and I don't know. I just don't want to sound like everybody else, and sound all woo woo and all that stuff. And that's great. I think it's everybody's just do their own thing. Like I just don't want to be like everybody else. And so I want to, so I just talk about how this stuff relates to me and how it's going for me, and that's all I can do. But yes, I'm me, you're you, but we are each other, as I always say. So we're gonna have these similar experiences, and obviously words and language and the way things are described is going to be alike a lot of the times, but I want you to know that this is me on here being genuinely me, and how I'm feeling like I'm getting this revelation, if you will. And I'm so thankful and so blessed, and just practicing gratitude, guys, has just been so beneficial. Extremely beneficial, as we got a tractor on the winding road to my left, and a truck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bales of hay that I went past as well. And I gotta stop doing that. I like to give you play-by-play with things I see, but I gotta stop doing that, because then I lose my train of thought of what I'm trying to tell you. But I hear that voice now in me, man. I hear it so loud, but yet so still, so comforting. Running, like I just have so much more patience than I did before by practicing all the things on all the other previous podcasts that I talk about, and I'm not, I don't want to bear that I'm just getting on here and repeating myself every time, because I don't want it to be that way. I want to tell you where I'm at in my journey. Might help you in your journey, may not. So I was thinking about the evolution of that noise, that I talk about, and blocking it out and turning the noise into beauty and things, but we're still going to have these negative thoughts because we're humans, and yes, that's inside of us too still, no matter how hard we try to get rid of it, because it's in our nature. But man, like, I had like a negative thought earlier, and then right when I'm having it, I talk about blocking it. I didn't block it though. It was more than blocking it. Yes, I blocked it, and then I just see this shooting light in my mind. No, I didn't have my mind closed, so I'm imagining it, but I felt it. I felt it in my soul. I felt that negative, and it was just like I sent it away. I sent it flying away. It went like warp speed, dude, like warp speed. It may not resonate with you, may not understand that. That's okay. I'm just telling you how it felt to me. It might resonate with you, though. And it was just like, as I come to understand more and more, I'm like, wow, there's always a next step. And I felt that inner voice in me say the other night, and I really wasn't even thinking about, how far I've come from where I was. But that inner voice in me yet was talking to me, and I was like, I just heard, you've come a long way, but you still have a long way to go. So I acknowledged then how far I've come, and that I'm like, okay, but every day I'm continuing to just learn more and more about what I need to do while I'm here. And it's really so simple, man. It's just pure love. It's just pure love. and not being selfish. And that gets in the way so easily via fear and all that stuff. It gets in the way, man. It does. And I think the reason we have a lot of the problems we do is because of that, but also because just once you realize, like, this is not our home, this is just, as I talked about on the previous podcast, we're on a journey, we're on a mission, we're in a dream, we're on an adventure, we're on a vacation sometimes. Like, all these different things play out along this journey in this shell, I don't like calling it a shell either, because it's amazing. The human body is such an amazing thing, but it's just a temporary spot that we're in with our soul. And like, once I've just realized that, it's just crazy. And I think about how I've become a lot more tolerant. Like, I wasn't at first. Once the realization is happening, and then I didn't have a lot of tolerance for the negative then. Like, whenever people are, complaining to you about stuff, or just anything negative. And I didn't have a lot of tolerance for that because I'm running towards the good. But then I think about how I have a lot of patience now about it. Yeah, I still want to run towards the good, and I want to try to shift the conversation sometimes whenever people are just caught up in talking about the negative and the bad, and what's going on, how this is so horrible and this is so bad, but I realize it's a perspective thing. And I realize that by them sharing it with me, like, that it might help them, and I'm in a place where I have patience with it, and it just it's just not letting it penetrate the surface, and it's being able to absorb that from them. It's like you take it from them, and then you're the one that you take it and you get rid of it. Like, you're not getting rid of it for them, but it's helping them by allowing them to vent to you, but you're not letting it penetrate you, so you're not even worried about it. You're not even feeling negative at all, even though they're bringing this negative on. In your mind, you're thinking, okay, all right, what can I say here to help them? What can I do? And a lot of the times, if you are just trying to get, people, you don't want to get, this is kind of shifting away into a different, type of conversation, but, if somebody's, whatever they're doing, talking to you, and you're like, okay, I really don't want to play into this at all. So, a lot of times I'm just like, okay, man, yeah, I understand. Or just being, just like somebody tells you something, and, you could, like, that thought in your head, like, especially if they're something that is negative about you, or you could add negative to the situation by saying, yeah, man, people are stupid, yeah, those damn idiots and stuff like that. Then they're just gonna keep going on and on about the negative. Then you're just feeding in to that negative. But if we're able to reframe it, reframe it, and try to flip it on its head for them, and just make them realize it's just like it's only a problem because it's happening now. Like, just try to get them to just think a little bit deeper about it, and realize that in a week or two, or however long it's going to take, they might not be worried about it anymore. And it's like, and I've come to that realization, and I'm not perfect, obviously. I still, every now and then, sure, you let things happen that's not great, but I'm able a lot more and more, and I've always been good about saying sorry and stuff, but I'm able more and more and be like, okay, hey, man, I acted out of a place of anger there, and I'm really sorry for that, and it's quick a lot of the times in my interpersonal relationships and everything. It's just so quick. I still say a lot of messed up things, telling people to shut up or doing whatever it is that might happen, and you're like, oh, okay, well, and then it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I told you to shut up. It's just like quickly realizing that it was a problem, and you're just not creating bigger problems because You know, if you just let them say what they're saying, but then you don't come at it because you didn't take it personally, so you're not then attacking back and saying something, a lot of the times it'll just dissipate. And then in conversation, man, I know sometimes I'm like, well, I could say this, but then that's just gonna keep this conversation going, and it's not really a conversation that I'm interested in because it's of the negative. And so I've come to learn, and I was horrible about that. I would feed right into this stuff and keep it going and make it worse. But now it's just like, a lot of times, want to say something, I just don't say it, and just because it's just like, okay, is it worth? You got to ask yourself, is it worth saying? Is it worth saying? Is it going to make it better, or is it going to make it worse if I say this thing? I ask myself that quite often, and it's just having that awareness and that the consciousness in that moment to be able to recognize that. And I think the more and more I go along, it's just like, I don't know, man, this is, like I said, just this last month, it's just been, wow. It's been an epiphany. It's just been so mind-opening. I got on here and talked a lot to you about, like, God is love. Love is in us. God is in us. Like, then I watch a lot of these near-death experiences and things like that, and people like talking about, going and meeting God, and all that stuff. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm like, okay, for number one, of course, I question it. You can't believe everything you hear. That's the old saying, as I mentioned several times. Don't believe anything you hear and half of what you see. So a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, I'm questioning it. But at the same time, and then I question it. I'm like, man, but all these people say the same things. Like, are they all just on this big conspiracy that, and if they are, why? No. I really think, like, and you talk about technology and everything, like, you look at the Bible and how these people have visions and things, and, and even Jesus being here. And all the lessons that we're taught, that he taught us, all that stuff, and we're able to still take that, and now I just feel like with the technology people are able to share their experiences and their encounters with God, and it spreads because the good spreads a lot quicker, the bad spreads a lot quicker. It's all like because of the technology. I do think we're coming into this different realm of awakeningness of what we're doing here, and of our species, of this journey and this time that we have. And yeah, I do truly believe that, like, yeah, God is sending those people back so that he can let them know, so that you can let other people know. And like, I'm a product of that, because now in this last month, I knew I have all this love, and I knew it's in me, but it's just at a whole nother level now. Like, I feel that in me. I felt it before, but it's just like in the core, like, I don't know, right? It's like right here to me. It's like right here, I feel like God inside of me, and I'm just so aware of that now, like, all the time, I'm just aware of that. And now, maybe not all the time, because if it was all the time, I wouldn't slip up and make mistakes, and be quick to anger and things like that, but it's more often than not. It is more often than not, and it's just this deeper level that, I'm thinking like, I feel this, I'm doing good. I know this love is in me, and I'm spreading it now more so than ever before. Like, whenever I'm going through all the lust and all the sins of man, and being deep in them, you know, like that. I knew that God was still there, and you know, thank God, like I still heard that voice in the middle of it, had that awareness, you know, like, it's okay, I'm going to take you out of this whenever it's time to take you out of this, and I always knew that, and I always felt that. So like that, so that was an awareness then, and then I get out of that, and the longer I go out of that, it's just like, you know, that's just, I don't know, it's just like certain periods of time where you just get shown more and more, and you just realize that, yeah, God is in there, man. Yes, walking beside you, yes, all that stuff, but in the Bible it says, like, God, you know, Jesus left the Holy Spirit behind, not like, yeah, all in the world, but in us too, inside of us. And you know, you can feel that, man. And I felt it before, and like, but it's just like, okay, like I heard these people talking about this and that, and I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, I believe that, but you know, but it's never really like happened to me. But yeah, yet I believe, so that's good, that's faith, right? But now I'm feeling it happen to me, and I just know, and it's just there, and then it's just like, you know, it's just like we keep going down the road farther and farther, getting more and more enlightened by that fact, you know, where it's just like, you know, I got on here and I've questioned before, like, what if we died and nothing happened at all? Like, I don't question that anymore. I don't question that at all. With the experiences I hear people with what they say, you know, and then, you know, just like, yeah, the gifts of the earth with psychedelics, and how, you know, that's healing people's trauma and depression, and, you know, my own personal experience with that a few times in the past. It's like, man, that's all correlating together. It is all correlating together with what I hear these people talking about, their near-death experiences, like that is all correlating together. And then I think about, and they always talk about like this light tunnel, you know, this tunnel of light. And then I'm like, man, like that's what whenever I get ready to go to sleep, a lot of the times, like, that's what I go down. That's what I go down in my dreams. I'm seeing that tunnel, you know, and I'm going into it. And so then I pay attention and I write it down, what I see in those dreams. And it was so crazy the other day, and this has happened 2 or 3 times in my life, where I've went somewhere that I've never been before, and I'm like, this is the place in my dream. And it happened to me yesterday. I was out hiking in this creek, just a specific part of this creek. I was like, that was in my dream. And I remember the exact dream, and I hadn't thought about that dream in a long, long time, you know. And it's just kind of funny how, you know, like you try to remember your dreams, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But then here I am in this world, in this body, in my eyes open state, you know, with these eyes, my eyes open state, and I'm remembered like every single detail of that dream, and it was just amazing, absolutely incredible, mind-blowing experience to me. And it was just, it's just beautiful, and it's amazing. But the deeper and deeper I go in diving into this now, you know, there was for a while there, it was a little bit maddening, and, you know, and a lot of questions, you know, because I was just, I don't know, it felt like I was kind of new to it. So it was like, all right, well, what the heck's going on here, you know? But once it's just like anything else, it's new, it's going to be maybe a little bit scary. And, you know, any negative emotion that's correlated with something new, you know, you don't know it, you know, you got to learn it, and it can be a challenge. And it's like, the more and more that I learn in that, it's just, it gets simpler. Like I dive deeper and deeper into it, but it gets more simpler and simpler. And I know that might not make any sense, but it makes a ton of sense to me. Because it's just, because of the anxiety, times of where I felt depressed or whatever, just questioning this life, like what the heck is going on here, I think sometimes those moments just are because this is not our home, and we get lost in this world in thinking that it's our home, and so we get lost in the flesh and the pleasures of it, and thinking that that this is all there is, and it's not, man. Like a 1,000% belief now, where before it might have been under 100, and now it's like I'm at 1,000. It's like, and I know I can get to 10,000 and 20,000 just by staying rooted and staying focused in that love, and just listening to that love. People are like, oh yeah, God's talking to me, and this and that, and it's just like, before I'm like, I don't know, sounds like to me I'm just kind of talking to myself, like I might be telling myself like, oh God, is that you? Did you say that? And now like there's a difference. There's a difference whenever I'm getting on here and I'm trying to correlate to you, and it's like I'm thinking about it and I'm telling you it. But then sometimes I just get so lost in it that the words are just coming out of my mouth, and I get done, I'm like, I don't even know really what I said. Like that's what it feels like to me whenever I hear that inner voice inside. Like there's a difference now, and it doesn't even feel like I'm thinking. It's more like I'm listening. I don't feel like I'm thinking it, and I'm telling myself all these positive things. It's like I'm listening. I'm listening to that inner voice of God, of the Holy Spirit inside of me. And that's beautiful, man. And I love it. And we are love, and God is love, and it's in there, man. It's in there. I'm me, you're you, but we are each other. Love, inspire, unite. God bless.